Okay, we're up to Daf Dalit Amid Aleph. Daf Dalit Amid Aleph at the top. Okay, the Mishnah said that if you go ahead and shecht a carbon shaloi lishma, that it's puzzle. Excuse me, that it's kasha avol shaloi olam b'shem chayva. That is olam shlamim. So in other words, you know you need lishma. You know you need that to be lishma. And that the first sugya, that was the stira between that Rava asked in the Beis Medrash of Beis Medrash. And what's the source? So tonight's Gemara is very different than last night's Gemara. It's really limudim. And in fact, guys, Kachim is very much limudim. Kachim is very, very much limudim. In other words, it's where do you know, where does the Torah say something? It's all derises, most of them. Where do you know it? So where do you know that it has to be Lishma? Now, when we speak about Lishma, we're speaking about all the Avodas, guys. All the Avodas Adam, which we all know is Shchita, Kabbalah, Hilacha, and Zrika. So in all four, you need the Shema. So we need limudim for all four. We need limudim for all four. Okay? Minalan. The in zvicha lishma. So the first thing, we're starting off with the first of the avodas, which is shchita. How do you know shchita of a carbon has to be lishma? Okay, now you'll ask. Then we have a pasuk, moitzis v'secha nedarta and le nedarta. Then what? It's an adava, right? So look at Rashi. Minalan bin zvicha lishma lekatchila. Dimi moitzis v'secha le mefarshi be avodas lishma. It doesn't explain the avodas lishma. Okay, we know the end result is that it's a good carbon, but we don't know how it's lishma. So the makra v'im zevach shlamim karbonoi. Okay, the pasuk says again a lot of psukim. So the pasuk says v'im zevach shlamim karbonoi im bin abaku makriv v'im zachim the keva tamim yakrivena. We know a shlamim could be a zachor and a keva, and it says v'im zevach shlamim karbonoi, and zevach means, guys, what? Shchita. Guys, remember, this is important. Zevachim means shchita. I gave him the hakdama. Zevachim are blood karbanis. Zevachim are blood karbanis. So we speak about zevach, we're speaking about shchita. It says, v'im zevach shlamim karbanoi, and now we're going to darshan, guys, shetehei zevicha, the act of shchita should be l'shem shlamim. It should be l'shem shlamim. For the Gemara, the dilmu hainu shemayu, maybe that's its name, zevach shlamim. In other words, how do you know it's the act of shchita? Maybe the carbon, vim zevach shlamim karbanai, maybe it's giving you a name, but not necessarily a verb. Maybe it's a noun. Maybe zevach shlamim karbanai. Says the Gemara, midichsiv hamakriv es dam hashlamim, hazoyrik es dam hashlamim, v'leikasiv zevach, v'hocha kasiv zevach, shmam yinosh leizvicha l'shem shlamim. Because in other places it doesn't call it zevach. In other places it's simply called shlamim. So obviously, since it's other places it's called shlamim, over here it's also shlamim, and therefore zevach means what? Means shchita, and zevach means shchita. So therefore, my zvicha should be l'shem shlamim. Fred the Gemara ashkin zvicha sharabayis minalan. Again, we have three more to go, guys. Right? Mm-hmm. We have three more to go. We have the Kabbalah, the Halacha, and the Zrika. That it has to be lishma. Okay. Zvicha sharvadis minalan v'chitema leilef mizvicha. Now the easiest thing is just like zvicha is a avoida, and Kabbalah, Halacha, and Zrika avoidis. Just like zvicha has to be lishma, so too the other three have to be lishma. I'll ask a question again. When you have a memetzino, one question knocks you out. Malas zvicha shekein nifsala shaloi l'shteim oichlin v'pesach. There's a chumrah. If you shech the carbon Pesach, you have to shech it for people who can eat. In other words, if you're an old person and you cannot able to eat it, and there's other people, you have to shech it for people who are able to eat. But if people are not able to eat it, then the shechit is possible. So in Mela, it has that chumrah that doesn't exist by what? By the other ones. In the Mela, since that has that chumrah, you can't learn out. Maybe that's why it has to be the Shema, because you come after Shem L'Shem Eichman. But by Kabbalah, Zrika, and Eilacha of the other ones, not. Ella, how do you know what the others? Ella, how do you can't, in other words, I can't learn from Zvicha. How do you know the other three of Kabbalah, Eilacha, and Zrika? Ella Makra, Hamakriv es Dam Hashlamim, the one who's Makriv the Dam Hashlamim. What does that mean? Now, Makriv you would think means what? Zrika, correct? Shetei Kabbalah l'shem Shlamim. That Makriv over here means Kabbalah. I would say makriv means bringing close. I would say it means halacha, guys. I said zrika. No, it means halacha, not zrika. Excuse me. It means makriv means to bring close. So I would think it's halacha. No, it's not. It's Kabbalah, right? V'lichtav rachmana b'Kabbalah, v'leilav shchita mina. So Now, so now for the Gemara. So you know, it says Hamaker v'tam hashlamim shedei kabbalah l'shem shlamim. Okay, so now the Gemara goes the other way. Okay, fellas, I know what? I know Kabbalah. So why did I need a pasuk of Zevach Shlamim? Learn it from Kabbalah, because now I don't have the chumrah of that. You have to shechta the shame those particular individuals. I don't have that. So v'lichta v'rachmana b'Kabbalah v'leilav shchita mina mishum de'ikla nifrich ma'al Kabbalah shkein psula bizar. Kabbalah is pasal bizar. Mashen kein shchita, which is kasha bizar. An unbelievable din. Lichat chila, a zar is able to be to shech, which lends itself to an amazing idea. I was just thinking this. That means I can be mafagal a carbon.
Yeah.
You hear this? In other words, what? I'm a zar. I'm shechting the carbon, and I say, remember you have to verbalize it according to Taisus. I say I'm shechting it now. I'm asked to do this rika tomorrow, and I'm not a kohen, and I can't do this rika. L'chayra.
If it's kosher,
I'm saying l'chayra. What? Kohen's just a okay. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Maybe we'll find out. Yes.
So your example was that the Makriv is saying that?
The Puri shechting it.
But it could be the Makriv doing it also, no?
What's the Makriv?
The person.
I could go ahead. No, of course not. He's not doing an avodah. Machshava pigel is only in one of the four avodas. Three of the avodas is only kasha b'koyin. One is kasha bizar. So shchita anyone can do it, and shchita, right? I'm just saying it's a fascinating idea. Because he can't do the avodah. So I'm just wondering like that. I'm wondering if, again, I'm wondering out loud. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it has to be. Almanas, since I can't do this rika. No, I could do the shchita, but my machshava won't passel.
You have to be able to passel everything or not.
I'm doing the shchita. I'm asked to do this rika tomorrow, but I can't do this rika. Again, this is just popped into my mind now. I'm just throwing this out. You hear the problem,
right? Then he didn't do lishma. The kind did a lishma. His rika said, right?
Again, he could. Again, he could. But again, l'chayra. Anyway, so bottom line is, since Kabbalah is pasal bizar, I won't mashenkin shchita. So therefore, I can't learn out shchita from Kabbalah. So now I have two sources, guys. Let's keep the cheshbon. Zevach shlamim. What does zevach mean? The shchita has to be same shlamim. And I have a makriv, esadam hashlamim. And what does makriv mean? It means Kabbalah. So I have sources for both, two of them. So I got two more to go. Halacha and Srika. Okay. Ashton shchita v'Kabbalah. I now have shchita and Kabbalah. Zrika minalan. How do you know Zrika has to be lishma? B'chitema leilef mehani. Learn out from shchita and Kabbalah, just like shchita and Kabbalah. It has to be what? Bizarre. It has to be lishma. So to what? Zrika has to be lishma. Right? Malahani shekain tu'unas safain v'yeshna b'chatas apinimius. Now, shchita of Kachri Kedoshim is in the north. Kachim columns in the south, but it needs north. In other words, some kabbanas need north. Good. Chatas panimius, there's no zrika, meaning the chatas panimius is not nizruk on the mizbeach achitzlein. It's brought inside, and you daub it you spritz in front of the prikus, and you daub it on the mizbeach. Okay, so if those two things that what you want to learn out zrika from Kabbalah, and Kabbalah has to be in the north because shchita is in the north. And also, it's shaykh by chatas panimius. Mashenkin Srika is not shaykh by chatas panimius. So therefore, I can't learn that Srika from Shchita and Kabbalah. You just have to repeat those four. I can't learn it out. Ella amakra. Where do I know Srika from? Azorik es dam hashlamim. You have to be zorik the dam hashlamim. Shadei Zrika l'shem shlamim. Right. The Zrika l'shem shlamim. So now I have four. Now I have what? I have three. I have three out of the four. The lichter is Zrika v'leiluf mina. Okay, let's write just the pasuk Hazorik es dam, and I'll say the following: just like Zrika has to be lishma, so to Shchita and Kabbalah have to be lishma. Lenny with Daf Dalid Amid Aleph, and I'm gonna review in a second. Okay, Daf Dalid Amid Aleph about a quarter of the way down. V'leiluf mina the Zrik from Zikra, Misham Dikla Mifrich, Mal Zrika Shekin Chayvala Zar Misa. If it can a Zar do Zrika? No. Can a Zar do Kabbalah? No. Can a Zar do Halacha? No. Can a Zar do Shrita? Yeah. All right, guys, this is a big site. Eye contact. A big site. A big site. A Zar who does the Avoida is Mechuyev Misa if it's an Avoida Tama. If it's the last, in other words, there's no Avoida afterwards. Now, Shechita is kosher bizarre, but even if it wasn't, he won't be Mechuyev Misa because they're actions afterwards. If he can't do Halacha, but if he does Halacha, he's not Chayiv Misa because he still have, the Kabbalah. If he does the Kabbalah, he has the Halacha afterwards. Halacha is not Chayiv Misa because the Zrika is afterwards, but Zrika will be Chayiv. Zrika will be Chayiv. Why? Because it's an Avoida Tama. In order for it to be Chayiv Misa, it has to be the last. There's no Avoida afterwards. So therefore,
Kisi Adam, that come into play.
Kisi Adam is a din chulin when you're covering an animal of a bird or a chaya.
Okay, so it's not separate from.
Again, by an animal, it's not shayach
Right.
Kisi Adam. It does right. It's only by a chaya and an oif. So now, let's go through it. So now we have a source. A source for Zvicha is Zevach Shlamim. A source for Kabbalah is Hamakriv. A source for Zrika is Vizarak. It says Vizarak is Dama Shlamim. And why can't you learn out the other two, Kabbalah and Shkita from Zrika? Because Zrika is a Zaru B'chayiv Misa, so it has that churma with need the Shema. Mashen came the other two. Okay. So, Ashkin Kula. Halacha Minalan. Okay. Yeah, it's a little schwach. The I don't know where they're keeping the Gemaras around here. Do you have any idea? There's a share in the morning.
The side, I don't know.
Kenny, is it lower?
What?
I don't hear you, Rabbi Stern, so well.
You hear me? Guys, other guys hear me fine?
Okay.
Nothing.
Regular, nothing special.
New batteries, nothing.
They're out of them. I have to get tomorrow.
Nothing. Okay, anyway, so right now we have 3 of the 4, but we can't learn out one from the other. So we're missing halacha. We're missing halacha. We have shchita, we have Kabbalah, we have Srika, we don't have halacha. Okay, so again, just to reiterate, we're learning out the avoida. We know the 4 avoidas, they have to be lishma. Where do we know them from? So it says v'zevach hashlamim. It says a makves hashlamim, v'zorik hashlamim. So makves adam, and so v'zorik hashlamim. Okay, very good. Now, where do you know halacha from? Ashken kula halacha minalan. How do you know halacha? V'chi tema leilif mikula. So I'll learn that from all the 3. I'll learn that. Listen, just like shchita and Kabbalah and Zrika. So halacha. You'll ask malakula shekina avoida sheyev shelevatla. Tema b'halacha sheyev shelevatla. You can. In other words, maybe I don't need the Shema because I don't have to do it. If I shech next to the Mizbeach, I can do the Kabbalah and do the Zrika. In other words, it's so the Shema is a shtickle chumrah. So you want to say there should be. Let's learn out halacha from the other ones. Maybe the other ones have to be the Shema. Why? Necessary. Mashen ken halacha, which is not necessary. Maybe it doesn't have to be the Shema.
You have to walk around to the other side, even if it's the opposite coin.
No, but you already did his Zrika then. That halacha is the initial one. No, Chaim is asking like this. You can't avoid, even let's say you chef next to Mizbeach. Let's say it's a shlamim or an oila, and you need to do shtaim shtein arba. You're doing one, but then you're walking around. That's not halacha. That because you did Zrika already.
What about for a
Even if you didn't-
Right?
For the chatas, you have to, because you have to go up to.
Chatas on the top. Yeah, the chatas on the yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. But again, they said that the north it has to shkita the north. That's only the Kadashim. In other words, they are unique to these objects.
It doesn't have to.
So therefore, we need a source for halacha. Ela amakra. What does the pasuk say? The hikriv. The pasuk says the hikriv menu. I don't know the hikriv. What do I have over here? The hikriv akayin esakol. It says the pasuk says v'hikra kain es v'akayin yachas v'mayim v'hikra kain es hakol v'hikra mizbeach and the kohen's going to wash everything. He's makrav them on his beach. For Amar, this what is he doing? Zuhay lechas evarim lekevesh. There's in the burning process of the carbon, they didn't just go ahead, cut up the carbon, walk to the top of the mizbeach and throw it on. They first put it on the ramp, and then after the ramp, they salted it on the ramp, and after the salting, they continued on to go ahead, went to the top, and right there on the right side there was a big amaracha, and they threw it in there. That's what they did. So now it says vigorous akolim is vehikriv. It says vehikriv akoyin es akol vehikdir v'ama marzu alechas evram lekevesh. That's okay. Vitanya, and then there's a next pasuk. It says v'hikrivu. The shachar has been a bakal fnei Hashem v'hikrivu b'nei Aaron kahanim es adam. It says v'hikrivu zu kabbalas adam. So now, fellas, v'hikrivu means to bring close. That's mashma. You're walking, and so why is Kabbalah used in the lashon of v'hikrivu? In other words, why did the Torah opt to go ahead and say the lashon of v'hikrivu? For if hikrivu is mashma being close, you're walking, but you're telling me it's receiving in a receptacle. Zu kabbalas adam. V'yafik rachmana b'lashon halacha l'meimra the halacha le'tefik mechal Kabbalah. That halacha is you don't leave halacha has the status of Kabbalah. It has status of Kabbalah. So once you ascertain that Kabbalah is lishma, we know halacha is lishma. So once you figured that out, have the paper. Once you figured that out, right, then everything is geshmir. This is on the other base. It's not on the base. Okay.
Can you use the same purpose that it's not, in other words, it's different. How can you learn it out from
In other words, you have a halacha is not necessary. However, Kabbalah is. So once the Torah used the lashon of halacha le'inyan Kabbalah, is to tell me that halacha gets the same halacha as Kabbalah. Even though you get rid of it, will we treat halacha as Kabbalah? And now we said Kabbalah is. So guys, so now we got it, right? We have four. We have all four. We have Zevach Shlamim. We have a Hikriv twice, and then we have what Zrika. We have Zarak, and we have Hikriv. And the Hikriv, one is for what is for Kabbalah, and one is for what is for Halacha. And it's used Halacha v'Hikriv to tell me that Halacha is for Kabbalah. Okay, now there's two shinuyim in the Mishnah, guys. There's shinui kodesh and there's shinu bailim. Shinu kodesh, you're going from oil to shlamim. Shinu bailim, you're going from one fellow to another fellow. So now, v'yashkin shinu kodesh, we found already shinu kodesh. Shinu bailim minolan. How do you know shinu bailim has to be lishma? How do you know that? How do you know you have to do it in the name of that other person? How do you know that oil has to be in the name of the other person? Okay, so the pasuk says in Tezayin, ubisar zevach toidas shlamav, and the meat of the zevach of the toida, a person would bring a carbon toida for chayim, right? Chayim, you're sick, you got out of prison, you see, or the desert, you're on a journey. On those four cases, you would bring what's called a carbon toida. What's unique about the toida? It's a shlamim. What's unique about it, guys? It's eaten for what? A day and a night, and there's chametz associated with this. There's 40 loaves. There's 4 times 10, right? And it's eaten for a day and a night. A beautiful Ebenezer, guys. This very good drasha for Yom Tov. A shlam is eaten for 2 days and a night. A toida is eaten for a day and a night. Why is a person bringing a carbon toida? He wants to thank Hakadosh Baruch Hu. You'll get more people if you can only eat the carbon a day and a night. More people are going to come because you have to get rid of it. If the first regular shlamim 2 days and a night, so that's why Hashem made it. That's a day and a night to get more. You'll invite more people to eat it to make sure it's no nicer. And that's why it's a nice opinion. Why it's a day. It's Eben Ezra. That's why. Okay. Anyway, it says ubisaz zevach toida shlamav. Now zevach toida shlamav shetei zvicha l'shem toida. It should be the zvicha means the shchita should be l'shem toida. Now, do I need that for shinu bailim? No, I have that already because it's zevach hashlamim. And meinu inyan l'shinu kodesh the nafkalon we learned it out from him zevach hashlamim mehasam. Taneu inyan l'shinu bailim use of shinu bailim. Good. So in other words, I got an extra pasuk that seems to be teaching me the same thing. I got an extra pasuk that seems to be teaching me the same thing. What do I need it for? If I don't need it for Shinui Bailim, Shinu Kodesh, use it for Shinu Bailim. Guys, much easier than this night, right? Right. Fred the Gemara, V'hola Hachi Hudas, I got a problem. How can you tell me Vim Zevach Shlomov is coming to teach me Shinu Bailim? I need it for something else. Hami Boyle Chidetanya, Ubesar Zevach Toida Shlomov. It says in Besar Shlomov, Abachonin Oimer, Mishum Rebbe Eliezer. Abachonin says the name Rebbe Eliezer. Bolo Lami Toida Sheshachta L'Shem Shlomim Ksheira. Shlomim Sheshachta L'Shem Toida Psula. Right? In other words, a Shlomim L'Shem Toida, right, is a Toida L'Shem Shlomim works. A Toida L'Shem Shlomim L'Shem Toida does not work. My Hefesh Ben Zel is there. Toida Kruya Shlomim, as it says, besides Zevach Toida of Shlomov, a Toida is called a Shlomim. Ben Shlomim Kari Toida, right? Because so therefore, if it's not called a Toida, you weren't like the shame. You weren't like the shame. So therefore, l'chayra, since I need it for that, since I need it to teach me that, I can't use it to teach me Shinui Bailim that it has to be Lishma. That has to be Lishma. Since I need the Zevach Shlomov to teach me Abachanin's din, that if you sech the Shlomim L'Shem Toida, it's puzzle. So since I need it for that, okay, I can't use it for something else. And for the Gemara, Anan, our drasha, guys, was from the word Mizevach Karminon. From the word Zevach, right? Abachanan, he was dashing from Toida Shlomov. Pirish. What's your kasha? Zevach Shlomim, I need for this, I need it for this. Two different limudin. Toida Shlomov is one, that's Abachanin. I'm dashing from the word Zevach. No problem. No problem. I'm dashing from the word Zevach, he's dashing from the word Zevach Shlomim. Fred the Gemara, the Akati mi boile, I still need it. Chatas v'asham minayin. Guys, how do you know Chatas v'asham is a day and a night? I know it says Zevach Shlom is a day and a night. Guys, again, the pasuk says, Ubesaz Zevach Toida Shlamav biyom karbarno yeyochel. You should eat it what? On the day that it's brought. Now, how do you know Chatas v'asham? Talmud Loimar, Zevach. Zevach. It's this extra Zevach, this word Zevach is teaching me that Chatas v'asham are brought what? So therefore, since I need it for that, I can't use it extra for Shini Bailim. In Cain, if that's the only thing he was coming to teach me, Nichtov Kro Ubesad Toidas Shlamov, Zevach, say the word Zevach afterwards. My Zevach, what do you say it before? Shmamina, Tarti. You hear two things. But in fact, it's location. The fact that you put it before the Zevach, you hear two things. Zevach Chatas Vasham, Zevach Shlamov, that's the Zevach of Shlamim. Okay, so what do we not, guys, just summaries. Let's summarize. What do we have so far this evening? We have Shini Kodesh, we have all four. Shini Bailim, we have one. We have Shlita. So now we have three more to do by Shini Bailim. Right? Okay. Ashken Zvicha, you find shechting, but if you shecht it, that has to be the Shema. Ashken Zvicha, Shara Voidus Minalan. How do you know Kabbalah, Chaylacha, and Sarika by Shini Bailim has to be Lishma and not the shame in another Baal? The Chitema Leilaf Mizvicha will go the same route we did initially. Let's learn it out from Shchita, just like Shchita is Zevach Toida Shlomov. Teaches me Shinu Bailim is out of the ballpark. So it has to be Wild L'Shem Bailim. So to the others, you'll ask the same question. Malazvich, the same Pircha. Malazvich Shkein Pasel Shaloi L'Shem Oichlim B'Pesach. Shchita has a chumrah. What's the chumrah of Shchita? That by Karban Pesach you have to shecht it. So therefore what? Nema zvicha b'shinu kodesh, v'nema zvicha b'shinu bailim. Ma zvicha omer b'shinu kodesh lechalakta ben zvicha l'shar avodos. Av zvicha omer b'shinu bailim lechalakta ben zvicha l'shar avodos. Okay, I got a great limud, guys. Great limud. I can't learn out directly from zvicha. Guys, look at me. I have zvicha by shinu bailim. What's our mission? We want to learn out the other three avodos by shinu bailim. Good? We want to learn out the other three. I can't learn it out from zvicha because Shchita has a unique thing. When you shech the Karban Pesach, it's going to pass if the person can't eat it. So the Gemara now takes a different route. Oh, 1 second. Did I establish Zvicha by Shinu Kodesh? Yeah. I established Shinu Kodesh. So why don't we do the following? Just like Zvicha by Shinu Kodesh, it included the other four, as we learned. So to the Zvicha by Shinu Bailim, let's include the other four. Let's go that direction now, right? Let's go there. Okay. Now you go back to lack of eye contact. You go back and, I'm not going to call anybody, don't worry. Fish it out. I just wanted to bring you back in time.
I said I wouldn't make the shechiyah.
Anyway, so now, So let's say the following: Nem zvicha b'shini bailim, ma zvicha mur b'shini kodesh lechalakta ben zvicha l'shar avodos, as zvicha mur b'shini bailim leitachlam ben zvicha l'shar avodos. L'chayre, this is a great limud, great limud. Iklu nefrich, ma l'shini kodesh shekain. We're gonna have 4 psulim, guys. Guys, here's what's gonna happen. Look, let me tell you what's gonna happen. Guys, let me look. Okay, back to eye contact. Yeah. Okay, listen. I'm running along as I go along. You know, we're making this up as we go along. Guys, watch. We have the 4 by Shinu Kodesh. We have the 4 by Shinu Bailim and 4 by Shinu Kodesh. These Shinu Kodesh we've established. We want to say Zvicha here, Zvicha there, therefore all 4. We're going to ask a kasha saying there's these Shinu Kodesh, Shin is different from Shinu Bailim. And therefore, you can't learn one from the other. We're going to say of the 4 questions you're going to ask, 2 are moot points. So it's only 2. But the bottom line is I have 2 differences, and once I have a kasha, everything's done. Okay. Now, what are the 4 differences that you think? Mala Shinu Kodesh Shekain. The first thing is Shinu Kodesh Shekain Pesula Begufa. Right? The psul is in the guf. Masha'en Kain Shinu Bailim. It's not. The Gemara is going to slug this up. Next, the Yeshnei Ba'arba Avodos. Right? That there are 4. The Yeshnei Ba'arba Avodos. Right. Look at Rashi. The Yeshnei Ba'arba Avodos is important. Rashi, guys. The middle medium. Shem Shachat Shaloi L'Shmoi. A kibul v'halach v'zarach shalei l'shmai of any of the 4, afa pi shalei chishiv ela halashchita shalei l'shma pasal. Even if you only throw in the shchita, it's going to pasal everything. Kid Rabin and luhu le'el, like we said before. Aval shinu bailim le'shayach ela bezrika. Guys, shinu bailim is shayach only by zrika. Why? The hadir Rabin and shchita lifsal b'shinu bailim. That we go ahead and we include shchita to pasal b'shinu bailim, eina ela kegoin sheshochat al menas lizroik lihischape boy acher. I'll repeat. That we say shchita pasals by shinu bailim is only when you shecht for the purpose of doing zrika for somebody else. Again, the kapara, guys, is in the zrika. When it says lechaper, that's a synonym for zrika. Guys, so look at me. Listen, you guys hear the skiddish. By Shinui Kodesh, 1, 2, 3, 4, anything that's Shloi L'Shma, the carbon is not acceptable, it's still good. No, I mean, it won't be Oilul Bailim Shem Chayva, but it's acceptable. By Shinui Bailim, everything is totally in this Rika. So in other words, you have to do the Shchita to passel in this Rika. Continues in the first wide line. Aval Shochet Shaloi L'Shem Ba'olav. Let's say you shechted Ruvain's carbon, not in the name of Ruvain. And you don't mention Manas to be Zorik for Shimon. Einzu machshava. That's not a machshava. The Shinu Bailim Leishayach Bekarbin El Lischaper Boy. The Kapara Bezrikahi. Since Shinu Kodesh, guys, to change from Oila to Shlomim is Shaykh in any of the 4 avodas. When it says the 4 avodas by Shinu Bailim, you know what it means? That you do of the first 3 al menas to do zrika. Shchita lizroik, Kabbalah lizroik, Halacha lizroik. In other words, so Shinu Kodesh is in 4 avodas, but really Shinu is a good insight to know. Shinu Bailim is really only in 1, only in the zrika, because everything is contingent upon that. Why is that? It makes a lot of sense. The end result is the kapara is in the zrika of the dam. So as long as you don't do the zrika, you're not getting kapara. You haven't bought it for the other guy. I could think all I want, but I haven't bought it for the other guy. So that's what it means over here. It means the first way it's psul beguf. V'yeshnoi ba'arba avoidus. Shini kodesh is enough for avoidus. Mashenkin shini bailim is only bemis in the zrika. V'yeshnoi la'acha misa. Okay, shini kodesh after misa. Let's say a guy dies. The son brings his carbon. Let's say on the other hand. Whatever the carbon is, you're going to bring it after the guy's not dead. The guy's dead, but you're going to bring the carbon anyway. Masha'enkein shinu bailim is not after, once he's dead, you don't have to bring the carbon, right? If a guy dies and his son inherits the carbon, he brings the carbon. But shinu bailim, once the guy's dead, he doesn't need the carbon anymore. Okay? And v'yeshnei b'tzibur could be yachid, because the tzibur is always there. Masha'enkein the yachid, right? Shini Bailam is l'shayach b'karban tzibur shari kol ba'olav. Shini Bailam is not shy. You can't, guys. You can't be mishana by karban tzibur. What are you going to say? I can only make carbon. I can only be mishana by a yachid. I can't be mishana by the tzibur because the tzibur is always there. So therefore, there's 4 reasons. So in other words, you want to say the following: Zvicha you have by what? By the Shina Kodesh. Let's learn that Zvicha by Shinui Bailim and include and get all, just like over here, it's all 4. Here it's all 4. I got a big difference. I got 4 kashas. I got psul, I got avoidus, I got lachamisa, and I got tzibur. Okay, so that's what the Gemara says. Amid Beis. Biafa gav the tarti lav dafkas. We'll see in a second. Even though 2 of them are not good questions, we're gonna knock them out in a second. Even though tarti are not such good questions, we're gonna knock them out. Nonetheless, mia dafka, mia tarti, mia dafka. You still have 2 that are dafka. Now, which are we going to knock out, guys? We're going to knock out 1 and 3. We're going to knock out psul b'guf, and we're going to knock achamisa. Ma'ishno shini bailim b'loi havi psula b'gufay, because machshava ba'alma, shini kodesh nami machshava ba'almahu. Fellas, remember on opening day I sent you to a Tosfos in Mem Gimel that shows machshava means dibur? Remember I sent you to Bab Mitzvah, right? Take a look at the top Tosfos over here. Machshava ba'alma, Vafilu yitzarich dibur, kivin deleka ma'isa havi kamachshava ba'alma. So Tosfos L'chayr says over here also said that's it's a dibur, even though you need a dibur, meaning Tosfos is holding you need a dibur. That machshava means dibur. Okay, anyway. So that's out. Shini kodesh nami machshava ba'almahut. So you got rid of question number 1. Alakivin the akshva pasla chanami by shini bailim kivin the akshva pasla. Or Pinchas Breder of Mori Dama Yesh Shini Bailam Lachamisa. He holds there is Shini Bailam Lachamisa. I guess we'll meet this later on. So therefore, question number 4 is out. Good. So you got 2 of the 4 questions that are out. Tarti Mio Ika. You still have 2. You have that what that the 4 avoidus, and you still have the tzibur, the question of the tzibur. So therefore, what you cannot learn out Zvicha of Shinui Bailim from Zvicha of Shinui Kodesh. So therefore, what are we stuck with, guys? All we know is Zvicha by Shinui Bailim, and we don't know the Shinui, but we don't know the other 3. Ella Amarav Ashi, Amarav Ashi. Someone say it's not Rav Ashi, Rav Amatebus Ashi. Nimcha. Okay. Amakra v'nirtzaloi lechaper olav. Okay. What is the now? This is speaking by Zrika, guys. The chaper is always the chaper. When you see lashon chaper, it means Zrika. So here, what do you have over here? The samach yodai al roish ha'oila. He puts smicha on the rosh ha'oila. V'nir tzaloi, it'll be accepted for him. Lechaper alav. So now I have zrika. Now I have zrika because it says lechaper. And what does it say? Alav. Lechaper alav. The zrika has to be for who? Alav, for the guy, not somebody else. So now I have zrika lishma by shini bailam. So I bemis I have what? I have zricha. I have shchita, and I by Bashina Bailam because I have another pasuk Zevach Toidesh Lamav, and I have a second. Now I have a Zrika. I have 2. Benisla Chapralav V'lei Al Chaveiroi. Fred Gemara the Haila Hachi Uda Asa. It's coming to teach me that you need to do Zrika Lishma for the sake of the owner. Hami Boy Lechiditanya V'nir Tzaloi Lechaper Alav. Rabbi Shimon Oimer Esha Alav Chayu Bachru Yusai. If it's a neder, he said Harei Alai. He's chayiv to make it up if anything happens to the animal. But if he said Harei Zu, then not. My timer, since he said upon me, commanded toy and lay out katfli dummy. It's like it's on his shoulders. Fellas, we have neder and nedava. Neder, Harei Alai, bli neder to bring a carbon. I have, if anything happens to the carbon, I said Harei Alai, I got to bring it. If I say Harei Zu, bli neder, that this is a carbon, only that's a carbon. And he dies. Okay, so I need this for near tzaloi lechaper alav. Alav, it's upon him to make it up. So if I need it for that, how can I use it for zvicha l'shma of shinu bailim? Right now, here where do you learn it from, guys? From the word alav, lechaper alav, correct? So why does the Gemara answer? Why does the Gemara answer? Ravashi mivenir tzaloi lechaper kamar. He didn't learn it from the alav. He learned it from the loy. Venir tzaloi, it's merutza for him. Okay, okay. So let's what do we have over here? Again, if you didn't listen to a word to share, if you listen now, you'll get it. 4 dinim shinui Shini Kodesh, right? We have 4 dinim. We have Shchita, Kabbalah, Halacha, Zrika, and we have Psukim. We have by 2 of the 4 by Shini Bailim. We have Zevach Shlomo teach me Shchita, and we have Nir Tzaloi for Zrika. That's what we're holding. We're still missing Kabbalah and Halacha of Shini Bailim. That if you do it, it's the carbon will be good, but what? But it won't be oil Bailim Hashem Chayva. That's what we're holding. That's it. That's all you have to know. It wasn't so hard. Okay. Ashkin Zvicha Uzrika. Kabbalah Minalan. Mamish the same Gemara. You know Zvicha, you know Zrika Minalan. V'chi Tema Leilif Mizvicha Uzrika. Let's learn it out from Zvicha. Just like Shinu Bailam is gonna make it like oil Bam Shechayva. By Zvicha, by Shechne and Zrika, Yaleas Mal Zrika Uzrika. Shechen Avoida Shechayvola Bechutz. If I shecht bechutz, guys, I'm chayav kares. If you do srika bechutz, you chayav kares. If you do halacha or kabbalah, you're not. So therefore, you could not learn out from shchita and srika. Again, I think it might be a bummer. I'm not sure exactly. It might be a bummer. Ela Omar, I did gears over here. Ravashi, Rava. Ela Omar Ravashi, Asya me el nazir. The chsiv. Now the nazir brings 3 kabbanas, guys. And when he brings a chatas, a oila and a shlomim. The shlomim of a nazir is accompanied by 2 types of breads, not chametz. 2 types of breads, and it's also eaten for a day and a night. Could be. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think so. Anyway, what does it say? Ayol yaseh zevach shlomim Hashem al sala matzos v'asa koines min chaslei v'es nischol. Okay, this is what it says. What are we going to darshan from Ves Ayel? What are we going to darshan? Ves Ayel Yaseh Zevach Shlamim. Yaseh means what, guys? Shetehei Asiyasai L'Shem Shlamim. It's Asiyah. All the avodas associated with it should be L'Shem Shlamim. The main in L'Shinei Kodesh, the Nafkalei Mehasam that we learned out from the various psukim previously. Tenei in L'Shinei Bailim. Learning for Shila Bailim. So. Right now, I would say you know everything. Why the Gemara did not learn like this in the first place? You didn't need Zvicha, you need Zrika. You could have learned everything. All the Asiyas from Zevach from here. Okay, guys, so now we have it. How do you know Kabbalah? It says Yaseh. And it says Yaseh what? Zevach Shlamim. That all the Asiyas, Yaseh should be the Zevach Shlamim. Okay, the Gemara gets a little funny. Ema Yaseh Klal. Zevach Prat. The aim bechlal or masha beprat. One of the yuginal midas is that if you have a klal, a rule, and you have a specific, what's included in the rule? Only the specific. The specific. What's the rule over here? Yaseh, you should do. What? Zevach. So all I would know is shchita. I wouldn't know anything else. Yet you're telling me everything. Says the Gemara, El masha beprat zvicha in midiach min aloi. Says the Gemara, "Ikosab Yaseh Shlomim." If it would say Yaseh Shlomim then Zevach, Kidduka Amrit. If you said Yaseh Shlomim Zevach, here's what I would say: how do you make the Shlomim? Ayidei Zvicha. How do you make the Shlomim? Ayidei Zvicha. That would be a klal prat. But what does it say? It says Zevach before Shlomim. So therefore, it's not clear. It's not a clear klal. Says the Gemara. Ikosab Yaseh Shlomim Zevach Kidduka Amrit. You'd be correct that the only thing that's included in the prat. In the klal is zvicha. Hashidachsev yaseh zevach shlomim. Rashi says the zevach comes between the shlomim. Havile klal shein amale. It's not a complete klal. The whole klal shein amale ain't done with b'chal prat. So therefore, I'm not going to dash in klal prat. And Mela, I'm going to dash yaseh shlomim that all the asiyah should be shlomim. That's the opinion of Rava. Ravina Amar la'olam donim. You do say it's a klal prat, guys. However. The Hashem chazav kilel. So now what do you have? Klalu pratu klal. And guys, what's the difference? Look at me. Klalu prat. The only thing you have in the klal is the prat. All you have is shchita. Klalu pratu klal. What that klal does, you know what it does? It makes the prat more expansive. Anything that's similar to the prat will be included. So what's similar to shchita? Halacha, halacha, kabbalah, and zrika. They're all avoidus. So that's how Ravina knows. Okay, says the Gemara. Lashem is now as a klal. Okay, it's klalu pratu klal, and therefore will include everything. Fred the Gemara, Amalei Ravacha bin Difti Ravina, v'haloi domi klal kamal klal basra. The klal of Yaseh is not similar to the klal of what of Lashem. What's more inclusive? Lashem. What does that mean? Klal kama mabra asiyos, the suloi. The first klal only includes the four avoidus. Shchita, halacha, kabbalah, v'srika. Klal basra, kol lashem, afilu shvicha shirayim, that would have to be lishma. Vaktaris emurim, that would have to be lishma. So in other words, it's not similar. So in other words, dash the klal pratu klal, there has to be a similarity between the klalim. Says the Gemara, Hatanid Rabbi Yishmael, b'choli prati darish ki hagavna. Now, who would know better than Rabbi Yishmael? Guys,
You wrote it.
Rabbi Yishmael. He's the Balasugya. So if he tells you you're going to dash in Kalu Prati, if the Kalu, it's a good. So Ravina held serve. He's got a good Kalu Prati. Klal, everything is included.
Is that the part Lashem, Lamai said those are all mitzvahs, but they're not, it's not sold in the carbon, those things.
No, we're saying the following.
The
saying-
everything's sold in the carbon, right?
No, we're saying the following. There are four avoidus Adam that could mess up the carbon, right? Okay. There are other things that you have to do.
That's a separate mitzvah,
But again, you have to do them.
but it doesn't.
But again, you have to do them. If it's Lashem, I would say those other things become like the avoidus. And if you don't do them correctly, it would ruin the carbon. Again, but this is what I would say. Okay. Now, you do dash, and again, you'll see by certain Shirayim, again, we'll see about the Shirayim and burning the Emurim. Again, we have Sugyas Gemuris about if you mess up the blood, can you burn the Emurim afterwards? Hava Talia, very much dependent. Okay, but right now we have a Kala Pratu Klal, right? And that's how we know Kabbalah, Halacha, Zrika. We're good. Okay, now, Daris Ki Agavna. Now, Kala Pratu Klal, you have to do al Kaveda. Prat, what's right, guys? Ma Prat Mefurish Avoida, Ubeinin Lishman, Av Kol Avoida Bein Lishman. So now what do you have? You have everything. You have everything by Shina. We covered everything. So I sent out, Benji was kind enough to show me something that I got from my Cornfellow a while ago. I sent it out. It's a very good chazara. Okay, we didn't do the last one yet, okay? We didn't do the last one. Let's do the last one, okay? Just keep your phones open. Let's do the last one. So let's continues on the Gemara. In other words, we're speaking over here about Zevach. Guys, the Asiya is speaking about Zevach. It's speaking about Shchita, correct? Shchita Yichai B'chutz. So why do you go ahead and include Halacha and Kabbalah, which you're not Yichai B'chutz? Says the Gemara. Imam haprat mefurish avoida b'chayav v'chutz, which is Rika, which is Kabbalah, which is Shchita. Af kol avoida b'chayav v'chutz. Shchita is Rika in Kabbalah v'lachaloi. Inari, let's go the other way. Ma prat the Shchita mefurish davar toyin safin. You need north. V'yeshna b'chatas hapnimius and mashenkin's Rika. Av kol toyin safin v'yeshna b'chatas pnimius. Shchita v'Kabbalah in Rika loy. So guys, I can go ahead and take out. Guys are following. Look at me. I have a klal pratu klal that says shchita. So just like shchita, you need the shema by bailim. So to the other three. For the Gemara, I could say 1 second. Shchita is unique. What's unique about it? The chayiv b'chutz for karis b'chutz, b'shech b'chutz. Let's look at the other avoidus. Kabbalah, halacha, srika. Yeah. So maybe the only two that would probably be problematic would be Shchita and Vadan. Or I can go another direction. Shchita is the north, and Shchita, you don't find them as Mizbeach HaPnimi. So therefore, what would it knock out? Srika. And knock out Srika. So in other words, the first one knocks out what? Kabbalah and Halacha, and the second one knocks out Srika. So in other words, you don't know everything. So what does the Gemara answer? What does the Gemara answer? Shchita within the zrika ikle mei mahachi, vikle mei mahachi. Guys, I can say this way, I can say this way. Shkula hein, they're both equal. Shekulin hein, they're both equal. V'yavoy shneim. Lishnach rino b'chad b'chad teiku v'milsa. In other words, guys, I can say this way, I can say this way, but giving my draw, you don't go one way more than the other. So if I go this way, I'm going to include Sarika. If I go this way, I'm going to include Kabbalah. Therefore, you're good. Okay, that's one way to learn. Iba Yasema. Now we have this Sarika midrav Ashi Nafka Ashkin or Rava Ashkin Ayel Nazir Shashlam Minayin. I know what. I only know the Ayel of a Nazir. How do you know other Shlamim? The Chitem Inel from the Ayel Nazir Mala Ayel Nazir Sheken Yeshimam Damim. Guys, the Ayel of a Nazir is accompanied by a Chatas and Ayla. Masha'en Kain and regular Shlamim. So maybe that's the Hakpad is the Shema because it has a Chatas and an Ayla with it. In Kain Nichtav Shalmei, you just write Shalmei. My Shlamim, or change the Gersa, not Shalmei, Shlamov. In Kain, if it only meant Shlamim, it says Shlamov, which means one. My Shlamim, the Rabbis call a Shlamim. That goes there what? All the Shlamim. So guys, basically what we're concluding this evening, and we'll see the chart in a second, we have by a carbon Shlamim, Shinoi Kaidesh, and Shinoi Bailim, and all the Avoidis. What's the source? Let's see the chart. Let's see the chart. What's up? Okay, so according to Rava, where do you know Shechita from? They all learn from the same thing. Rava, Ravina, Ibaisema, Ubasar, Zevach, Toidav, Shlomov, that's where they learn it from. Kabbalah, Rava learns from Zevach Shlomim. Ravina learns from Kal Pratu Klal, and Abiyav same is all Kal Pratu Klal. Srika, according to Rava, Venir Tzaloi Lechapaloi, Ravina Klal Pratu Klal, and the Baisema Venir Tzaloi Lechapaloi. This is all by Shinoi Bailam. Shinoi Kodesh, we had Zebach Shlamim, we had the Hikriv twice, and we had Vizarak, so we were good. And we said that Halacha is Bechal Kabbalah. That's why I said Bechal Kabbalah. Okay, very good.